Alright, there's a video about exercise 67 and also a bit of an extra explanation for 65. I already have another video about that, but some students still find it kind of difficult. I'm going to start with 67. It says Corinne is making donuts, and for a certain number of donuts she needs 800 grams of flour and 300 grams of raisins. She has enough raisins but only 600 grams of flour. So since Corinne plans to use all the flour she has to work out the ratio to know how many grams of raisins she should use. She makes a ratio table to help her out, complete the ratio table. Okay, it says here that if you use 800 grams of flour, you need 300 grams of raisins. And then we need to figure out how much do you need then if you only have 600 grams of flour. So I'm going to copy the table over here. And we're going to fill it in. So if you have 800 grams of flour, you use 300 grams of raisins. And then we can figure out what this is and what that is. And then we can figure out what this is. So if you use only 400 grams of flour, you should use 150 grams of raisins. Because then the ratio stays the same, right? Otherwise you have too much raisin in your recipe. If you make only 200 grams of flour, if you only use that, then you should use 75 grams of raisins. Because now the ratio stays the same, right? You just make a lower amount of donuts in this case. You're just going to make donuts. And now we go from 200 to 600. So what we do here is we do times 3. So this you should also do times 3. So then she should use, actually this is exercise A. Exercise A says, complete the ratio table, and then question B is how many grams of raisins should she use? Well, we can see that in our table. In our table the answer is 225 grams. Okay. Then a bit of an extra explanation for 65 for the students that find it necessary, otherwise you can just stop watching the video. It says here, write down the ratios of those numbers. So to tell you what they actually mean is the ratio is 12 and 24. So what that could mean, like in this example over here, it could mean that if you want to make donuts, you should use 12 grams of raisins and you use 24 grams of flour, for example. This is the ratio. Now, if they say write down the ratio, you can write down just these two numbers. So you can say the ratio is 12 to 24. This is how you write down a ratio. And here's another example of that. For example, when you make lemonade, you have to use 1 liter of syrup, and then you have to use 7 liters of water. This is also called a ratio. Now, ratio, you always, it's a ratio. A ratio you always make as small as possible. So if I wrote down this ratio as 12 to 14, 2 and 14, I could make it smaller as 1 to 7, right, like this. Also, this one we can make smaller because 12 and 24 can both be divided by 12. So the ratio that you get is actually this, 1 to 2. This is twice as much as that. So if I write down a couple of the exercises from 65, right, we already have, let me move this paper a little bit. We already have these two numbers, 12 and 24, and then the ratio will be 1 to 2. If you take a look at exercise B, it says 27 and 18. So then we have to see, can we make those numbers smaller? Can we divide both of these by the same number? We can divide them both by 9, and then here you have 3, and here you have 2. If you take a look at the next one, it says 75 and 15. And then the question is, can you divide both of these numbers by the same amount? You can divide them both by 15. So that's 6. And then here you have 1, because this divided by 15 is 6, and this divided by 15 is 1. Hopefully this is a bit clear then. Otherwise, let me know. Bye-bye.